Hey guys, and welcome to another tips and tricks video for Friday the 13th. In this video I'll be covering the techniques that have helped me improve my overall game as playing as Jason. So I hope you can take something from it and apply it to your own gameplay. So without further ado, let's get into the video. This is the quick draw throwing knife technique. What I suggest is to go into offline mode and practice getting your crosshair on random things like water pumps, bird baths, trees, whatever it may be. What I've found works for me is lining up my target with the right of my shoulder. So now that you've gotten a feel for trying to get your crosshair on target, I now like to take it to windows and practice on them. You get a nice little animation of them smashing, always lining up your target with the right of your shoulder each time. Then I like to take it to offline bots. Again, lining up your target with the right side of your shoulder is what I've found works for me. But experiment. Maybe you may find something that works better for you. I've heard lots of different people say different things about what works for them, so just experiment. And then take it into a real game like this. Chances are you're not going to do very good at this for a while, but keep practicing. Don't get discouraged, just keep at it. I was terrible at this when I first started doing it, but I just kept at it and I got better at it over time. When people start to get a few throwing knives in the back, they start to panic and they start using up all their precious stamina. In a second here, you'll see me turn on my sense because I can't see her in those tall bushes. Then I line her up with my shoulder and I get the hit and now she's limping. If someone is about to swing on you, you can quickly throw your throwing knife and stop them in mid-swing and then grab them. This is another fun way of using the throwing knives. In a second here, you'll see this person start to stray back and forth. They have the right idea. You never want to be lined up with a Jason that knows how to throw the throwing knives. It makes Jason's job a lot easier if you stay aligned with him, but straying back and forth will draw Jason in closer, and unfortunately for this person, they had to use the sweater. I line up my right shoulder with Deborah's back and just tap the L1 button to get the quick throw. Here comes Tommy, but I get my shot off before his. Unfortunately, there's no penalty against the person who's aiming who gets hit with the throwing knife. It would be nice if he had to go through the animation of pulling the gun out again, but he doesn't. If you want to be a feared Jason, I highly suggest you add this to your gameplay. When people know you have this skill, they screw up, they make mistakes, they use all their stamina, and in the long run, it's going to benefit your gameplay. This is a Jason's tips and tricks video, but I'm going to show you how to deal with a person that knows how to throw the throwing knives. What I do is I watch the arms, and if I see any movement, I turn to my side to avoid the knife. If you've been running from them for a while, you should anticipate that a throwing knife is coming soon. People who take their time aiming, I like to just run up behind them and stand there until they waste their throwing knives. This guy was good at the quick draw throwing knife technique. He had already put a few in my back, so I'm straying back and forth not to be aligned with him. When someone has this skill, you can only avoid their shots for so long, so my suggestion is just to stun them and then get away from them and hide in a cabin. When people get your mask off and they have Tommy and they have the sweater, they're going to start taunting you, saying, "Aw, you chicken, where are you off to, Jason? Where you going? You scared? Da-da-da," whatever it may be. Don't fall for their ploys to come in closer. You're super vulnerable. You have every right to morph away, sit back, watch, let things calm down, and then plan your attack. On a side note, if you're one of those people that hides in the water the whole round until it's over to avoid being killed, that's cowardly. Don't do that. If a group of individuals are going to try and kill me, I'm not going to make it easy on them. I'm going to stake it out, watch them from afar, and plan my attack. Always give yourself a fighting chance. You never know. You could get the sweater girl, you could get Tommy. If you don't give yourself that opportunity, you'll never know. Of course, you're taking a huge risk when you do this. This person could have a pocket knife, there's people with weapons all around you ready to stun you, but I'd rather play this way than hide in the water like some cowardly people do. And if these people killed me, kudos to them.
Hunt them down and make them
I added in the combat stance and block technique because I don't see enough people utilize this, and it's a pretty good technique. When you're in range of being stunned, click the right joystick to go into combat stance, then hold R1 and block the shot, release R1, and then click the right joystick again to come out of combat stance, and then grab right away. One mistake I would make when first learning this technique was forgetting to release the R1 button after I've blocked a shot. You have to release the R1 button, then click the right analog stick in to come out of combat stance. If you're holding the R1 button while simultaneously clicking the right analog stick in to come out of combat stance, it will not allow it. You've got to remember to release the R1 button, then click the right analog stick in to come out of combat stance. What I'd suggest is going into offline play and just practicing that combination of clicking on combat stance, holding R1, then releasing R1, then clicking combat stance off, and just do it over and over again until it becomes muscle memory. Just another example of how blocking is effective. I go through the doorway, the counselor thinks they can surprise me with a stun, but I can see because of the angle of the camera. I block it, and then I get the kill. This is the wedge shift technique. I thought this counselor was inside the cabin, but they came outside, so I wedged my shift into the corner, giving them the VHS static, hoping that they would come in my general direction so I could get the grab. This technique involves a lot of luck because the counselor could go in any number of different directions, and on a side note, it'd be nice if people didn't rage quit. I do a fake little shift outside the cabin, giving them the VHS static, hopefully scaring them into thinking I'm shifting inside while they come barreling out, running right into me. Like I said earlier, this technique is based on a lot of luck. There's so many different options a counselor could take, so you're kind of gambling. Sometimes it will work, sometimes it won't. I wedge shift into these boxes in front of me. It's probably pretty unnerving not being able to see Jason and being forced into making a decision. Do you stay still? Do you make a run for it? Unfortunately, he made the wrong choice. So I break down the door and I go for the wedge shift into the corner of the cabin. Sometimes there's happy accidents where there's somebody who wants to be a hero. Unfortunately, this hero was the host and it terminated the game. As always, thanks for checking out my videos, and if you like my content, subscribe to stay up to date with new content. Also off to the side of my previous videos I made, so if you want to check them out, they're right there. Thanks for watching.